This E3 2015 coverage is brought to you by Senshudo TV, Apog, Cinch Gaming, and Gamer Saloon.
Okay, so we're taking a look at Loading Human. Very unique, very innovative title. Certainly the first of its kind that I've seen on the show floor so far. For those that may not have come across it so far, tell us a little about it.
All right, so it's an adventure. It's a virtual reality adventure. You play with motion controllers. You are in the body of the character. I'd like to say it's a mix between Monkey Island and Interstellar, and you mix them together and you put them in VR, and that's what you get. You are in the body of Prometheus, who's the main character, and you'll be living his life, basically. And you'll be jumping from memory fragments to memory fragments. And your main mission is to save your father. He's a crazy scientist. He invented this machine that keeps him alive. So he's really old, but it keeps him being young because he can regenerate his cells with nanobots. But now his decay, the decay of his cells, is too fast even for the nanobots he has. So he needs more energy. And basically it's going to ask you to go retrieve an energy source on the other side of the universe and bring it back to him. But of course, all this is just the tip of the iceberg of something much bigger, and you understand that you're a pawn in something much bigger than you. That's basically. And what you do, you're in the virtual reality environment, you tried it, and you use your hands, and you can take things. And whatever you take, if you take like a cup of tea, let's say, or a bottle, you'll hear the inner thoughts of Prometheus telling you what's his take on the object. You know, maybe his father bought it to him when he was young, or he really hates that type of cigarettes, whatever. Yeah. So you create a very intimate relationship between the character you are in and what he's thinking. So maybe sometimes you have dialogues between your characters and someone else, and you hear the dialogues, but you also hear what he thinks while he's doing the dialogue. So maybe, you know, I'm saying something, but I'm thinking something else, and you'll be actually in the middle of those two things, and you'll be interacting with characters too. This is another very interesting take. There is this girl, this woman called Alice. She'll be waiting you in this base where you have to train. And of course, you'll fall in love. And of course, I mean, come on. The thing is, you will interact with her in a very unique way. You know, something that you can do only with VR and motion controllers. The first time you meet her, she's gonna put her hand, and you know she wants to shake your hand, and you actually shake her hand, and you have a kiss. You know, she'll come up to you and kiss you. I mean, for whoever never tried VR, try it first, and then you'll understand there is a feeling of being in that place, you know. And when someone comes close to you, you're like, oh my God, there is something coming close to me. And if it's a person, if it's a character, and if you're binding with the character, it gets emotional. And that's what we want to do. We want to have an emotional take on virtual reality. We really want to have the gamer feeling emotions based on the situation he's living. We want the player to play an extra life. Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see the passion from it as well. It's fantastic.
It's so good, you know.
Yeah. So, just to kind of clarify a little, so the control scheme. So you've got your VR headset. Yeah. You've also got like a pair of move controllers to control both of your arms independently in the game. So, what inspired you to go into that direction? Because that's quite a unique setup.
Basically, we tried. At the beginning, we went to VR because I've seen a video on YouTube, you can find it, where there's this elderly woman, she's like 75, and she puts a virtual reality headset, like the Oculus, the DK1, the first release, and she was like, oh my God, this is so good, I like it. And I said, oh, if it's working on a grandmother, you know, it might be working. So I bought myself an Oculus. I tried it, and I said, oh, it's missing something. You know, I want to touch things. As soon as you see this virtual reality environment, you want to interact with it. And at the time, there were no motion controllers. The only motion controllers that were available were the Razer Hydra. Okay. So we started developing with the Razer Hydra. And then, suddenly, you have the Move for the Morpheus. And then Oculus is coming up with the Oculus Touch, which are motion controllers. And Valve with the HTC Vive, they're coming up with motion controllers. So basically, the standard now is becoming what we thought of at the beginning. Yeah. And so it makes sense. It really makes sense to interact. And you want to see your body, and you want to have a perception of you are someone in this virtual reality environment. Basically, the logical thought is, when I'm playing virtual reality, I cannot see my hands. And I don't have any peripheral vision that tells me, the color of the buttons, or of course, like a pro gamer knows exactly what the buttons are.
Right.
But sometimes, it happens that you look at your gamepad because you don't remember what button you have to press. It happens. In VR, you cannot do this. So the logical thought was, you need to have a controller that you can see in the virtual reality environment. All right? I have to see the feedback in the virtual reality environment. So what else do you have? You have your hands. You have your body. So you need something that control your hands in the virtual reality environment. And motion controllers are the obvious choice for that.
That makes absolute sense. So obviously I was lucky enough to get to play around with it for a short period of time, but when can we expect to see it a little more publicly or even on our consoles?
Well, so first off, we're aiming not only for the Morpheus, but also for the Valve and the Oculus. We should have something more tasty, I think in the next 4 months. I can't actually say exactly when we're going to do something about that, but it should be pretty soon. We're still developing, and we're aiming, like the final release of the game, we're aiming to go out in the market together with the headsets. So it's going to be about Q1 2016. So we are developing, and the next stage of development are the most interesting one, because it's going to be about interacting with characters. And I think this is where things get really, really interesting.
Absolutely. Well, I can say from personal experience that was really, really interesting, really intuitive as well. You wouldn't expect it, but it was. Definitely worth checking out, and thank you so much for talking to us today as well.
Thank you.